Here's a list of variables that you're going to need to know in order to understand this lesson. V sub x is the velocity of the horizontal axis of the
diagonal
force. V sub y, velocity of the vertical axis of the
diagonal
theta
force.
is the angle of a force, and F net is net force. V is velocity, A is acceleration, T is time, X is displacement, and Y is maximum. To begin our lesson on 2D kinematics, we must first understand that vertical and horizontal movement don't affect each other. For example, if one projectile is launched horizontally at the same time that another projectile is dropped vertically, they will reach the floor at the same time.
Forces will affect the path of a projectile based on their angle and magnitude.
For step 1, you'll find Vx and Vy using F net cosine theta for Vx and F net sine theta for Vy. For step 2, you'll find the time using Vy equals V plus AT. For step 3, you'll find the maximum height using y equals Vt plus 1/2 AT squared. And for step 4, you'll find the range using x equals V plus 1/2 AT. For the scenario, a soccer player kicks the ball with an initial velocity of 40 meters per second at an angle of 35 degrees to the horizontal. For part A, you need to find the maximum height reached by the ball, and for part B, you need to find its range and how far it traveled horizontally.
So V sub x will be equal to 40 cosine 35, and that will equal to 32.76. So then V sub y will be equal to 40 sine 35, and that will equal 22.94. For now, we'll be finding the time. So for that, you'll be using V sub y equals V plus AT. And so for the V sub y, you'll be plugging in 22.94 equals 0 plus negative 10 and then t. So now you'll just divide negative 10 to both sides. Okay, so t will then equal 2.294. So for this part, we'll be finding the maximum height. So for that, you'll be using y equals vt plus half at squared. So then you'll write down y equals 22.94 times 2.29 plus half times negative 10 times 2.29 squared. So 22.94 times 2.29 will be equal to 52.53 plus half plus negative 5, and then 2.29 squared will be equal to 5.24, and everything will be equal to 26.31 meters. And that's your maximum height. For the last part, we'll be finding the range, and for that you'll be using x equals vt plus half at squared. So you'll be canceling out half at squared because it uses the vertical and we won't be needing the vertical. So for v, you'll be plugging in 32.76 times 4.98, and that will equal to 163 meters, and that's your range. Other factors that affect projectile motion include wind resistance and gravity.
Just about everything you can think of follows projectile motion, even living things like Luna.
Are horizontal movement and horizontal bloopers. Are you putting this? Are you recording?
Everything in the real world.
To begin our lesson on 2D
Just about everything you can think of follows.
here's a list of variables you'll need to know in order for you to understand this lesson. V sub x is the velocity of the horizontal axis of the
Diagonal.
force.
Right.
Diagonal.
Diagonal. Because you're saying diagonal.
Here's a list of variables you'll need to
Diagonal.
know in order to understand this lesson. V sub x equals velocity of the horizontal axis of the diagonal
Don't
force.
be
V
getting
sub y is the velocity of the vertical axis
diagonal.
of the diagonal force.
Diagonal.
I can't say that word.
Diagonal.
Diagonal.
Just about everything that you can think of. Fucking